Many of you watching this video are allowed to come to visit Brazil for up to 90 days without a visa, and also many of you will be able to extend your stay in Brazil for an additional 90 days, totaling up to 180 days in the country. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you get this extra 90-day extension. And if you do stick to the end of this video, I'm going to give you a smart little trick that you can employ to actually stay virtually one full calendar year in Brazil without a visa. Now, of course, different passport holders will have different entry requirements coming into Brazil. So what I've done, I've put below this video in the description and the comment section a link to this PDF that you see on the screen here from the official Brazilian government website. And on this file, this shows you the entry requirements for every single country of the world coming into Brazil. So you're going to notice that there are some categories, some numbered categories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on. For example, category 1, you need a visa. Category 2, you can come to Brazil for up to 30 days without a visa. Category 4, for example, which is UK passport holders, Irish passport holders, you can come to Brazil for up to 90 days without a visa. To be really clear, this video is aimed at people who fall under category number 4. And to be even more specific, this video is aimed at people in category 4 without the asterisk next to the number 4. So to check which category you are in, you're going to go to the file, go to the far right column that says VIVIS and then visit in brackets. That's the column that tells you which category your country is in. So if your country is in category number 4 on that far right column, without the star, without the asterisk, this video is the video that you need to watch. Now, if there is an asterisk, a star next to your number 4, you can't extend your stay in Brazil for an extra 90 days. But if you don't have that star, you can. So again, this video is for people who are in group number 4, but you don't have that star next to your number 4. So for example, Portugal passport holders, Russian passport holders, South African passport holders, you don't have that star. So this video is perfect for you. But let's say you are Italian, notice how you have that star next to your number 4 Italians. Well, that means you can't get an extension for an extra 90 days. So you need to stop watching this video because this video will be not helpful for you. Okay then, so now you know that you are suitable to get your 90-day extension. The first step is that you need to stay in Brazil for 75 days. So you cannot apply for this extension of an extra 90 days until you have stayed your first 75 days in the country. Now for step 2, you want to go to this website that I've put on the screen here. Don't worry, you don't need to take a screenshot. The link is below in the description and the comment section. And when you click on this link, you end up on this website. On the top right of this website, you can change the language to either English, French or Spanish, or keep it in Portuguese, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And then you can begin to enter in your details. By the way, when you see filiação, this just means parents, so you just put in your parents' name here. Also as well, when you see this CPF option, you can just say that you don't have one. Just tick that little box. Unless you do have a CPF, obviously you can put in your CPF number if you do have one. Now, when you see that CEP option, that is your postcode. And this is one thing I really don't like about Brazil. In Brazil, Brazilian postcodes are completely numerical. Unlike the UK, for example, where our postcodes, our zip codes are alphanumeric, a mixture of letters and numbers. When you enter in your alphanumeric letter number combination postcode, it will not work when you try to enter that into Brazilian CEP text box menus. They will only allow you to enter in numbers, so you just have to enter in the CEP postcode of your Airbnb or your hotel into this option here. So now you filled in all the details, you just press the next button, the salvar button, and then you end up onto this page here. You may have to just quickly confirm that you are not a robot, and then you can select the state that you are in or the state where you want to collect your extra 90-day extension to get your stamp. So to make it clear, you have to go to the immigration police to get this 90-day extension and to get the stamp in your passport. So select the state that you are in or the state where you want to get this stamp. You can then select the city, cidade de atendimento. This is the city where you're going to get your stamp. And then you can select the unit, the police station that you're going to go to get your extension. And then hopefully you may see some appointment slots where you can book in an appointment with the police unit to get your extension. Now, 2 big warnings here. Don't worry if no appointments do not appear on the screen. or don't worry if the appointments available on the screen are beyond your 90-day stay in Brazil, because obviously you can only do this application in the final 15 days of your trip. If there are no meetings available in the final 15 days of your 90-day stay, don't worry, I'm going to explain what you can do. Also as well, if the website crashes, which it did for me, I was not even allowed to do this process that you see on the screen here because the website was just crashing. Again, don't worry, I'm going to explain what you have to do now. So what you do is you go to this website that you see on the screen here. Don't worry, again, the link is below in the description and the comment section to this site, and you want to select the state where you want to get this extension. So for example, Rio, Minas Gerais, Bahia, whichever state you are in. Once you've chosen the state, go down to section 1.3 on the site, which is Delegacia de Polícia de Imigração, and then you're going to see a telephone number and an email address for your state. Obviously, if you can speak Portuguese, you can phone them. If you can't, you're going to send them an email, and what you're going to ask them on this email is whether you can book an appointment to come and extend your tourist stay for an extra 90 days in Brazil. And then they will reply to you, and they may offer you times for you to book in an appointment with them, or more likely they'll just get back to you and say, hey, come in anytime you like. So for example, this dude replied to my email. He said, come in between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday, and then you can come in and apply for your extension. They should also let you know the location of the police unit that you need to get this extension. If they don't, just drop them another email and ask for this precise location. So far so good then. So you've stayed in Brazil for 75 days, you've got your appointment, or you've emailed the police unit, and you know that you can just walk in and do the extension on the spot. Now step number 4 is you need to print off something called a GRU, or a GRU file. I actually don't know what this stands for, but basically this is your invoice to make the visa extension payment. You have to make a payment to get your 90-day extension. Again, the link to this site is down below in the description and the comments. So you click onto that link, you then end up on this site here, and this site will allow you to enter in all of your personal details, like with that previous site I showed you a few minutes ago. Like with that previous site, the CEP section, again, that's your postcode, but you can't put in letters into the field. You'll have to put in your Airbnb's CEP Brazilian postcode, or your hotel's Brazilian postcode. In the endereço field, you just enter in the address of your accommodation. You also need to put in your mother's name as well, and the final field is Código Receita STN. Now in this field, you're going to press onto the search icon, and what you want to do is select the option I've highlighted here. So the number 140090, and then the number 94 next to it, then taxa next to it. Pedido de prorrogação do prazo de entrada. Excuse my very bad Portuguese pronunciation there. That is what you need to select to extend your stay. And next to it, you're going to see 110.44. That is the cost in reais. 110.44 reais is the cost at the time of recording of extending your stay in Brazil by an extra 90 days. So now you're going to press onto the pagar button, which means pay, and then 3 options will appear: Pix, Cartão de Crédito, and Baixar GRU. You need to press the Baixar GRU button. So Pix is basically like a kind of Brazilian PayPal kind of thing, or Brazilian Apple Pay thing, where they just use a QR code to make payments. You're not Brazilian, you don't have Pix, you can't use Pix. Second option, Cartão de Crédito. You can't use a credit card to make the payment online, because only Brazilian bank cards can make this payment. When you go to enter in the credit card details, again, you have to enter in this really annoying CEP thing, which you can't do because you're a foreigner. You do not have a Brazilian CEP, which means you can't use a foreign credit card to make the payment. So your only option is to use Baixar GRU. Once you click onto that button, you're then going to generate a PDF that looks something like this. You need to print this PDF off. So you need to go to a printing shop, or if your hotel has a printer, print it off there. You can only make the payment if this document is printed on paper. So really, that's step 5. Step 5 is to get the document printed. Step 6 is to get the cash for the payment. 110 reais 44 cents at the time of recording. Really important, you need this in cash. You cannot use a bank card to make this payment. You have to get physical cash out to make the payment. Once you have your cash ready, the next step is to go to your nearest bank. It can be any Brazilian bank, Banco do Brasil, Bradesco, Itaú, and you go to the bank and you say that you want to make a GRU payment. Use Google Translate if you need to. I guarantee you no one in the bank will know a word of English. So you then make the payment. They will then give you a receipt. Do not lose this receipt. This receipt is proof that you have made the extension payment, and you need to keep this receipt to show to the police when you go to the police unit to get your extension stamp. Now, before you go to the police unit to get your extra 90 days, what I would do for step number 8 is I would email them the same email address that we used in step 3. Ask them if you need to bring any additional documents with you for when you go to request your extra 90 days. So obviously you definitely need your passport because you're going to get a new stamp in your passport. You need the GRU receipt that you got from the bank as proof of payment. But some states may require extra documents such as a bank statement to prove that you have sufficient funds, or maybe a return ticket to prove that you are leaving the country in the next 90 days. When I emailed the office in Bahia where I got my extension, they said that I just needed to bring my passport and the receipt. That was it. I did not need to bring anything else. But I think in other states, perhaps maybe Rio, they are a little bit stricter. They may want to see evidence that you have a return ticket back home or a bank statement. So you just need to check with your state and make sure you have all of the documents that you need ready. And then your final step, step 9, head down to the address, the Polícia Federal address that you need to get to. Go to the unit you need to get to, give them your passport, give them your GRU receipt. Then you just need to wait until they've confirmed your extension and given you your stamp. And that's it, you've got your extra 90 days. Now, just to clear something up, when you get this extra 90-day extension stamp, this is 90 days on top of your 90-day allowance, which gives you 180 days allowed in Brazil consecutively. So, for example, let's say you get your extension stamp exactly on the 80th day you spent in Brazil. Don't worry, it is not 80 days plus an extra 90 days, giving you 170 days, which means you've lost 10 days in Brazil. No, it is 90 plus 90, 180 days. It's not 80 plus 90 days, 170. Also, another thing to clear up as well, if you are a category 4 country, as we said at the start of the video, this video is for category 4 countries such as the UK, Ireland, South Africa, Russia, Spain as well. The rule is that you can come to Brazil and spend 180 days in Brazil over a 365-day window. So let me give you a real example. Let's say we have this dude called John. He has a UK passport and he's going to arrive into Brazil on the 27th of April 2026. So he stays his 90 days in Brazil. He gets his extra 90-day extension. This takes him up to the 24th of October 2026. He's then going to leave Brazil on the 24th of October 2026 once he has finished his 180 days in Brazil. He can now not return to Brazil until the 27th of April 2027, 1 year after his first arrival in Brazil, because the rule is with a UK passport and with all category 4 countries, he cannot spend more than 180 days in Brazil within a 365-day window from his first date of entry into Brazil. Now, let's take this other dude called Bob. He's got an Icelandic passport, again, another category 4 passport. He arrives on the same date, 27th of April 2026, and he stays for 90 days until the 26th of July. And then he's going to have a week break in Argentina. He goes to Argentina for 7 days. He then returns back to Brazil on the 2nd of August. He can do this and he can stay for an extra 90 days up until the 31st of October. Now, when he leaves on the 31st of October, he has to leave on this date and he is not allowed to return back to Brazil until the 27th of April 2027 because he has used up his 180 days in his 365-day window. And let me give you a crazy example. This guy, Jason, is going to do 1 day in Brazil, then 1 day in Argentina. 1 day in Brazil, 1 day Uruguay, 1 day Brazil, 1 day Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Brazil, Argentina, so on and so on and so on until day 359. So on day 359, he is back in Brazil, but that is his 180th day in Brazil. You cannot go over 180 days in Brazil in a 365-day window. So that means he can't come back to Brazil for 6 days. He's got to wait 6 days, and then after 6 days is up, he can come back to Brazil again. Now, I did promise you at the start of the video that I was going to reveal a trick that you can use to virtually stay 1 full calendar year in Brazil without a visa. And I emphasize again, you have to be a category 4 passport holder without the star next to your number 4. So let's say that you want to spend pretty much the entirety of the year 2027 in Brazil. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go to Brazil on the 30th of June 2026. So this will be your first day in Brazil, and this will open up your first ever 365-day window in Brazil from the 30th of June 2026 to the 30th of June 2027. Now, next, you are going to leave Brazil the next day on the 1st of July 2026. So that is 1 day in Brazil in window number 1. Now it's time to spend most of 2027 in Brazil. So here we go. What you're going to do, you're going to fly to Brazil on the 2nd of January 2027. And then once you arrive, you can stay in Brazil for 90 days without a visa. And 90 days takes you up to the 2nd of April 2027. Now, in the last 15 days, what you want to do is get that extra 90-day extension as we described earlier in the video. Now, a 90-day extension would take you up to the 1st of July 2027, but you do not want to leave on the 1st of July 2027. You have to leave a day before on the 30th of June 2027. I will explain why in a moment why this trick will not work if you leave Brazil on the 1st of July. You have to leave a day early on the 30th. So you leave on the 30th and then you come back to Brazil the next day. So you spend 1 day in a neighboring country. You come back to Brazil on the 1st of July 2027, and then you can stay another 90 days in Brazil, because this is now window 2. So window 1 from the 30th of June 2026 to the 30th of June 2027 is now over. Window 2 has now begun. 30th of June 2027 to 30th of June 2028. You can then stay until the 29th of September 2027, and now you can get your second extension of an extra 90 days because we're now in window 2. You're allowed to get another extension in window 2, and this extra 90 days takes you up to the 28th of December 2027. And there you go, that is your full calendar year in Brazil, apart from like 5 or 6 days. Now, I just have to add that that means you are now not allowed to return to Brazil until the 30th of June 2028 because you've used up all of your 180 days in window 2. Now, I did say at step 6 that you must leave Brazil on the 30th of June, not the 1st of July, when your first extension runs until. This is the reason. If you did stay until the 1st of July 2027, that means you have now spent 1 day in window 2. That's because the 30th of June 2027 is when your window 2 begins. So if you leave on the 1st of July, you've already spent 1 day in window 2. So then if you return to Brazil on the 2nd of July, you can then stay another 90 days until the 30th of September. That is fine. That means you've now stayed 91 days in window 2. So that means you will not be allowed to get an extension with the police. That's because a 90-day extension would take you to 181 days, which is illegal because you're not allowed to spend more than 180 days in a particular window. So you can't leave Brazil on the 1st of July if you're going to do this technique. You've got to leave a day before or multiple days earlier. But if you do leave Brazil on the 1st of July, you can leave Brazil again sometime before that 30th of September date. Come back the next day, and then as long as you don't overstay 180 days within window 2, you're okay. I must now stress, I am not an immigration advisor. I am not an immigration officer. This video is not immigration advice. The information in this video may not be correct at the time you watch this video. It is your responsibility to check the entry requirements for your nationality when you come to Brazil. If you are denied entry into Brazil, I take no responsibility. It is totally your responsibility. I do hope that you have enjoyed today's video. Do click like and do subscribe if you have. Let me know in the comment section if you have any other questions, and I'll catch you in the next video.